Yeah. I've been dropping songs twice a month, still not feeling like I write enough to keep the peace. I just keep releasing, look, another beat is gonna bite the dust. This practice, if I wanna do it, I just do it. Yeah, I do it, I imagine. Stay thrifty, whole fit from the watch to the ring. I just cop anything, what you know about fashion. No khakis, I ain't never slacking. Everybody wanna get it fast, it ain't lasting. I'm the turtle of the race, you the rabbit. You end up getting past in the Aston. Oof, who gassed them? They telling me I'm gonna blow a gasket, I don't remember asking. Tell them that it's passion, better hope that I never get traction. Wheel spinning, guess I gotta deal with it. Same thing, nothing changed, I just feel different, like real different. So I guess if you asking, I probably gotta play it cool, why you messing with my mood? Make a move, they keep guessing what I'll do. Give me proof, gotta prove nothing to you. This is what I do, man, this thing ain't nothing new. I do everything as if I'm running out of time to. Never met anybody that work as hard as I do. Sorry for the energy, this is what my pride do. Told you I ain't perfect, yeah, I don't even need to find proof. You'll always win if I don't care about scoring. You're defensive cause you're scared of your story. I get it, man, yeah, the realness is boring. But how long can you really play it cool, why you messing with my mood? Make a move, they keep guessing what I'll do. Give me proof, gotta prove nothing to you. This is what I do, man, this thing ain't nothing new. Play it cool, why you messing with my mood? Make a move, they keep guessing what I'll do. Give me proof, gotta prove nothing to you. This is what I do, man, this thing ain't nothing new. No places, they don't know that I exist yet. Lot of industry names asking why we ain't friends yet. Your compliments are just blunt smoke, like a cigarette. I'ma say it with my chest. Yes, the palm, keep it in check. Confrontations over conversations and text. They wanna solve it with fish. Somebody get their lip cracked. Blistex over what? Who the bigger man? That's a big mess. You can't catch a break. The fast break will get your rim checked. Who next? You next? Yeah, I heard you. Big flex. We'll see how long that list get. The talented get picked less. It's 1 a.m. I should get rest. But not when I got some things left to do. So I'ma stay up to the moon, go. Stay up to the moon, go blue. Everybody think they so cool. Got a lot to do. Stay up to the moon, go. Stay up to the moon, go blue. Everybody think they so cool. Got a lot to do, yeah. Stay up to the moon. Success is knowing how to work the algorithm. Spend too much time on that, you'll never get around to spitting. Too many people are power driven. Too many people don't put in the time with the hours given. And wonder why the tire tipping. And then questioning our existence. Is this as loud as it gets? I put in the hours for this. I stayed up to the moon. Stay up to the moon, go blue. Everybody think they so cool. Got a lot to do. Yeah. Stay up to the moon. Stay up to the moon, go blue. Everybody think they so cool. Got a lot to do, yeah. Stay up to the moon. That's the sound of the battle, huh? Careful what you wish, you might just get what you asking for. You try but you ain't stick, this ain't fetch, get a Labrador. Tell them how you really feel, I said that's what the lab is for. Falls into the category of things I have a passion for. That's for sure, people like to talk, I like action more. People treating love like a last resort. Too many get the ball, wonder why would they pass it for. Why they feel okay with an average score. I need a 10, give me a 10. Even though it's just opinions, I need a trophy. You can't coach me, don't toss me no ribbons. Yeah, you focused on the trends, you only care for what was in. Then your career disappeared, you a better magician. Stay up to the moon, go blue. Everybody think they so cool. Got a lot to do. Stay up to the moon, go. Stay up to the moon, go blue. Everybody think they so cool. Got a lot to do, yeah. Stay up to the moon, go. Stay up to the moon, go blue. Everybody think they so cool. Got a lot to do, yeah. Stay up to the moon.
All right, test 1 2 1 2. Is the mic coming through okay? Sometimes it's broken, sometimes it's not. I was trying to finish my Chick-fil-A sandwich before I got on a live stream. I thought I could do it in 5 minutes, but this pepper jack cheese is a little spicy. My bad. All right, let's go ahead and get on live stream. Hello, hi, how you doing? Happy post Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys had a good one. And yeah, I just had a nice chill Thanksgiving. It wasn't like a big family gathering. I just went over to my mom's house and just spent some time there. But yeah, with the whole debacle of us dumping overnight, let's start talking about some of the supports that could line up as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and start saying hi before we go ahead and get started. Crypto Boss Andrew, hey, first Kite. Oh, thank you for the $5 as well, man. I really do appreciate that. If you guys don't know, Crypto Boss Andrew, I found him on TikTok, and we've just been going back and forth. How long till the stream starts? Usually, like, what I plan on is like the little intro screen where I just play music and stuff. That's usually about 5 minutes long. So if you guys ever are watching the live streams, you know, post, just fast forward like 5-6 minutes. Let's see. I love you, Kite. I love you too, buddy. Thank you very much, man. Robert, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? You said also love your TikToks. They help me so much. Yeah, man, the TikTok thing, I just started in the middle of the night, and I was like, this is going to be a good way to just kind of keep people updated less than a minute. So if you guys don't know what he's talking about, if you guys go to TikTok and you go to @AustinKite, Austin is spelled with an AUSTON instead of AUSTIN. Pretty much I just go over all the major coins and some of the altcoins, and just kind of give you the mainline supports and kind of just a fast opinion on it. So if you guys want to keep updated like that, that's a good way to do so. Let's turn this down just a little bit more. Always with the flame beats. You know me. I got the good music. Never thought about using TikTok for crypto news. Well, now you can, because I'm there. What's up, man? Kite, God bless your beautiful soul. Sometimes red face. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Making a killing on Litecoin. That's what's awesome. Yeah, so we'll talk about Litecoin. I just recently got my entry on Litecoin. And I don't know if I'm going to be holding it long term or just to the $80 resistance. Because obviously, and I'll kind of give you the news on what's happening with that. Because I got some good news for people that might want to hear it. But I had their breakfast burrito this morning. Yeah, I never had the breakfast burrito. I usually I'm like a basic person. I just get like a chicken sandwich. Chicken biscuit in the morning. And just some hash browns. Yo, Kite, good to see you again. How's it going, man? Absolutely fantastic, Josh. Had a good Thanksgiving and just been kind of rocking out. This morning I woke up at 6:30. Just kind of, I'd filmed the 4 major TikToks and then kind of just dicked around for a little bit, and I watched Mandalorian. This episode of Mandalorian was awesome. If you guys haven't seen it, we learned Baby Yoda's name. Hey, Kite. It's 4 a.m. here in Australia. Hope everyone is well. Damn, man. I'm sorry you have to get up so early for this, but I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're here. So maybe we might have to move it back a little bit. Maybe not 12 p.m., but 12 p.m. Maybe we'll move it to like 2 p.m. Who cares? Big profit either way. Absolutely, man. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Bitcoin first. Obviously, we got the rejection from the all-time high. I told you guys to be wary of that. You know, people were asking me, is now the time to buy or is now the time to enter longs? And my general opinion was no. Obviously, if we're working off of macro supports and resistances here, you shouldn't open up a long next to a macro resistance. It just doesn't make logical sense in my mind. I was telling you guys, I actually warned you guys about this double top over here. Because I remember, I don't know exactly who it was, but somebody was asking about like a 30-minute inverse head and shoulders possibly. And I told him, I was like, yes, that's a possibility. You can see it kind of started to go here, but I was like, more importantly, you want to focus on this double top. And you can see that's pretty much what led to the downside, that double top off the macro resistance. Now we are getting pretty much the opposite down here at about 16.5. We're getting a double bottom. And just to play devil's advocate when it comes to us finding support in this region and what I would be looking like longer term for, I personally don't believe we're going to break past the all-time high anytime soon. I'm looking for, somewhere in January, probably towards the end of January is where I'm really looking towards. But Reason being is if we go to the 2 hour here, you can see connecting the two peaks from these last two previous ranges, that kind of gave us a diagonal that we can kind of use to judge where we could find support. Now, obviously, this is just one of two diagonals. The next major one would definitely be the ascending wedge macro that we were looking at a couple weeks ago, and that I was looking for us to hold, actually. So that could probably put us into an ascending triangle. That's going to be the best thing. If we can get an ascending triangle and have a breakout above that, past the all-time high, that's a good launching pad. So what I'm expecting to happen is for us to hold here and then kind of just go range back and forth. Hopefully we get about one, maybe two, maybe three good, straight horizontal trades. And then after that, we're definitely gonna have to start shortening up the range. And then past that point, I probably wouldn't scalp trade it. I'd probably just be looking for the capitulation to happen and then finally the breakout to take the next trade. But you should be able to get at least one, two, maybe three, maybe a four, and then look for a higher low exit. That's it when it comes to Bitcoin. Obviously, we have a bullish divergence on the 1 hour and 2 hour as well. You can see we have the same low, and then we have a higher low on the RSI. So that's good. As well as that with the, I believe, 4 hour, we have a hidden bullish divergence. Always love to see it. You can see that we have a higher low, and then we have a couple bullish divergences off of that. So it would make sense with the 6 hour and the 4 hour kind of dipping into the oversold region. It makes a whole lot of sense for us to find support here. As well as that, the daily is actually sitting around the 54 mark. And I would love for us to kind of start trending now off the daily, off the 50. But we'll see how that works out. All right, so moving on to Litecoin. Talk about this coin. If you guys can go ahead and get in. I don't know what we're sitting at exactly right now. We are sitting at, let's go down in the 1 hour. We're sitting at about 67.81, and you guys can already see this is kind of the trade that I have marked out here. And then I have an alert just to kind of tell me when that gets past that. All right, so same thing as Bitcoin. We have a, this is the 1 hour. We have a bullish divergence. We have a double bottom with a higher low on the RSI. So I am expecting us to go ahead and pick up from here. The resistance, so if you guys are looking to kind of take a safer trade instead of try to guess on this bottom, definitely always look for a double bottom and then the break of the resistance of the double bottom. That's always the safer trade if you guys want to have a higher win ratio, but I do feel like we will bottom out here. As well as that, just like on Bitcoin, the 6 hour is in the oversold region. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get a direct bounce from here. A lot of the times when it comes to oversold regions, we need at least 2 to 3 taps of bullishly diverging RSI in order for us to really see that pick up momentum and then price action to come through with the upwards movement. So the daily, this is pretty good though. The last time that we got a major bounce on the RSI was all the way back here at $46, and you can see that we're still sitting above that. So with the RSI coming back down to a support region, as well as the 2 hour, 4 hour kind of looking like it's double bottoming out, I think it's a pretty good time to pick up some Litecoin. If you guys weren't able to get that first initial run up, right now we're sitting at a major macro resistance, well, now used as support, of $66. So if you guys want to go ahead and get into that, that is a available trade. Obviously not financial advice, just a 20-year-old kid on the internet. As always, chubby cheeks, blonde hair, blue eyes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then with the 1 hour, you can see I kind of marked out a diagonal support here that could be possibly what we're finding support on. And then also kind of building an ascending triangle, and then hopefully breaking past that $80 resistance. Now, the reason why I'm taking my profits at $80 and not going with the direct pattern target of like $89.90 is I just want to be extra safe. I do view this as a blow off top. Now, a lot of the coins were blow off tops, especially XRP. We'll talk about XRP. So that's the thing. When you have these massive run-ups on coins and they are just getting past major resistances without much fight, you could probably start looking for that inkling of downside and then possibly slip to the last support that you broke through. Reason being is you want to see a slow, gradual building of support along the way. You don't want to see it smash through a major macro resistance like it's butter. That makes no sense from a technical analysis standpoint. So you can see right here, I marked out these couple of lows, minus this one right here. You can see it still is kind of in line with this. And this is one of those diagonals that I would be taking a trade off of. You guys know me, I'm looking for about 15 to 30 days minimum as a diagonal, and that's about 26 days worth. So I do have confidence in that. And like I said, with a lot of the higher time frames looking like they could turn around, I just want to go ahead and get that trade in. So my personal entry was $67. My stop loss was 64. And the good news is I did do this on my main account as well, but I also took $100 and I put it into my Bybit affiliate account. And then I'm going to be seeing if we can get the $100 account started up again. So the first trade, as always, I like to go a little bit balls to the wall. So we'll see if it works out, just to get the initial capital started, and then we can start reducing our risk from there. So I'll kind of keep you guys updated on that. I want to make sure things are set in motion before we really start promoting it as, you know, the main thing that you guys are looking for on my channel. I just don't want it to be the highlight. I don't want all that pressure again. I definitely don't want to have the pressure to make the same mistakes as I did last time. So we're starting with about 90 bucks, not even $100. And I'm going to see how much I can get it to before we go ahead and start blasting off. And I felt like it was a good time to start that up, especially with us coming back down to that $66 range. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Ethereum. And pretty much what you're going to be seeing is on all of these coins, it's pretty much the same technical analysis. Blow off top, rejected, come back down, settle on a support, double bottom out, bullish divergence on RSI. It's pretty much all the same thing. So there is an available entry on Ethereum as well. And you can see we're finding support close to the last local high over here at about 484. So if we can go ahead and find support here, like I said, we have a bullish divergence. We have the 6 hour almost to the oversold territory. Now, ETH does look like it could have a little bit more ways to go to the downside. Now, I mean, obviously from a diagonal standpoint, it's right in line to find support. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, if you were to go ahead and take the trade on this, you probably should be targeting. This one's pretty good, actually. This is, if you get like a good entry, good stop loss, that's about a 7.18 risk reward ratio. And that's off of the $496 support to the last rejection of 617. So, I mean, if you did want to aim a little bit less high and look for a lower high, that's always a possibility. When I teach my students, that's what I tell them to do. Don't always expect the exact resistance. Always take your profits a little bit beforehand just to be safe, just because, you know, you could have the lower high or it just doesn't work out. So, I mean, even still, that would be a 6.25, absolutely fantastic trade. The minimum that we look for is 4. So that's another available trade at the current moment. And then XRP. Definitely a blow off top. All right, so let's go to the daily chart for this. We pretty much just skyrocketed past 48 cents without even paying it much attention. We skyrocketed past 58 cents, and we almost got up to the 91-cent resistance. We sat at about, like, what, 70 cents before we got rejected. We fell back through the 58-cent resistance pretty much immediately, and now we are starting to bottom out between the 58-cent resistance as well as the 48-cent support. So right now, on the 2-hour, you can see what I'm talking about. We are stuck between 58 cents and the support at 48 cents. So this is one of those ones that I think that we have a little bit more time. And if you aren't able to get in on Ethereum or Litecoin or even Bitcoin, XRP could be the possible double bottom that you guys can get in. Because I still have a feeling that we're going to come back down to 48 cents, you know, over the next couple of hours, if not by tonight. And then we should double bottom out there. We already kind of have the means to make that bullish divergence. Now, obviously, there is always the chance that we do go back down and retest 32 cents. I don't think that's going to be an issue, because if we're looking at the daily chart here, XRP is actually one of the few coins that doesn't have a daily bearish divergence, telling us that we could go substantially lower. So that's why I think 48 cents is actually a pretty good place for this to kind of bottom out. You can see on this inverse head and shoulders here. All right, inverse head and shoulders, boom, boom, boom. And then the length of the arm was 48 cents. So technically we should have gotten a rejection at 48 cents and then went back down to retest 32 cents. But with us being above the arm, I would say 48 cents is probably a good place to take a chance on. And like I said, with us not having an available bearish divergence on the daily chart, it gives me reason to believe that that could be a good launching pad from here on out. Maybe form a larger double bottom, who knows, to get up to that 91 cent resistance. Now, the big resistance that we want to go ahead and make sure that we do get a nice trade off of is definitely going to be the 91 cent resistance, because to the next major, that would be about a 200% spread. So that's something that you want to take a look at. So if you aren't able to trade down in these lower ranges, definitely picking up some not Litecoin, XRP around maybe 95 to $1 is definitely going to be your best bet. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the messages after we got through the first four. I'm gonna leave it on altcoin, on Litecoin, because that's the one that I'm currently in a trade on. I just want to kind of keep my anxiety high. All right, good to see you back, Crypto Kev. Hey man, how you doing? Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I didn't long that inverse head and shoulders, man. I went with the double top and and just took profits. What the heck? Well, that's good, man. I'm glad that you didn't, because that would have been an easy loss. Like I said, it was just kind of, playing on those smaller time frames. If you do get tunnel vision and you're not recognizing the major picture, you could have fell for that and you could have lost a little bit. So I'm glad you did that. Hey, Kite, looking good? Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. BTC 12-hour RSI 40 lines. If not hold, could go lower. Absolutely. I'm not saying that we're gonna bottom out here. I'm just saying at the current moment that's what the TA is looking like. As always, I am actually, from a regular standpoint, I'm expecting us to find support here relatively. The lowest I think we should possibly go is around maybe 16, maybe have a wick down to this support of about 15,800. And when it comes to, let me go to like a 6 hour. When it comes to the 6 hour, we can see that the trend Fibonacci is around 15,800, I believe. Yeah, see? So, the 1.618 from the previous trend is at 16,500. So it would make sense from a Fibonacci standpoint for us to find support around here. Just my opinion, obviously, does everything, work off of Fibonacci's exactly? No, but they're pretty damn close. You have to admit that. So that's another reason why we could find support around the $16,600 to $500 range. And obviously, like I said, we're looking for the diagonal to lead up to a capitulation around the end of January, where we can finally break out. And then on a lot of these other coins like Digibyte and stuff, I think we were looking for July, but that could be fast-tracked with a lot of these coins starting to move the way they are. So that's pretty much it when it comes to all four coins. Like I said, I'm going to leave it on Litecoin. If you guys want to see some other altcoins, just let me know, and we can get to that. And I know somebody wants me to take a look at gold, because it is taking him a little bit of a dive today. But I actually, either on Livestream, somebody told me to look at gold, or I just looked it up on my own. I had a descending triangle marked out, and I was targeting 16,800. Not 16,000, 1,680. So, hey, Kite, do you just turn off wicks, or is there a setting for averages on candles? So the averages come from Hakanishi, and then I turn off the wicks manually. Now, it's not for everybody. Obviously, people like wicks. The way that I explain it to my students and to family members and stuff that are trying to learn how to trade, wicks and regular candles with the exact numbers are for bots. All right, you're human, and it would be a lot easier to find the average support and resistance, and take a lot of the guesswork out of it. That's why I use Hakanishi with no wicks. It cleans up your chart. It tells you the average supports and resistances, and you can make pretty decent trades with those. We cracked out the Gonfans the other day, and everything was pretty much in line to the T. Can you take a look at BCH? Yeah, we looked at that on a TikTok the other day. BCH is actually one of the very few coins that is coming up here that could be a possible buy for me personally. Yep, here we go. Let's look at the daily chart. So you can see BCH is coming up upon a major capitulation, sometime around March, February, April. The major resistance that you want to look out for a buy is definitely going to be 493. All right, so if you can pick up some BCH around 500 bucks, the next major resistance is at about 1735, and that's what, like 190, 200%, 250% spread. Okay, so look out for a $500 to $510 Bitcoin Cash, and to the next major resistance, that's a pretty good spread. And then obviously the all-time high average sitting here at about $3,233. So I mean, if you can go ahead and pick up around 500 bucks to the all-time high average, that's about 536%. I don't have a personal prediction on what Bitcoin Cash can go to next bull run. I know it's going to perform well. I do think it's, I don't have a whole lot of opinions on Bitcoin Cash. Obviously, it's one of those coins where people like to fight over it. Bitcoin Cash is better than Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? All right. I care about money. All right. So that's a possibility. Look for the break of the capitulation and the break of this first horizontal. Now, if we do happen to go back up and break this local high again, you could have a possible entry point of $313, a break above that. If you guys want to be extra risky and probably go for, 1,000% play, because obviously if you can go ahead and get that buy-in, hold on to it, you have just about 1,000%. So the reason why this support would be, or resistance would be significant, you can see it was the support from the left and right shoulder of this head and shoulders here, and then obviously the resistance from the last double top local high. So we had a blow off top. We failed to get past it the first time. So maybe the second time through, you can go ahead and pick that up. But Bitcoin Cash is looking good for profits in the future. And let's go ahead and talk about gold. So this is what I was talking about. We had diagonal resistance, horizontal support, and we should be looking for, I would say right here would probably be the good target. That's in line. That's 1,680. You can see that's the flip-flop region where we turned resistance into support and then had a nice uptrend from there. So that would make sense to me. And you can see we have a logarithmic curve also marked out on gold here. Don't know how long that's going to last for. Obviously, I don't think gold has as much potential as cryptocurrencies, just because cryptocurrencies have infinite scarcity, whereas gold, you can always find more, even though it is scarce. So I don't know if it's going to, obviously blast off crazily, but I do think it'll perform well. If we have more shutdowns, do you think we'll see another huge drop? Potentially, but I really think that the huge drop in crypto, do I think it was related to Corona? Yes. But do I think it was going to happen either way? Yes. It has to do with market flow. The simple fact that we got back above 9,452 on the averages, what that causes people to do is remove their buy walls from underneath us, and then they have to put their money into the market. And then probably, obviously, I'm not a big conspiracy guy, there is probably major market movers that held that resistance and then forced it back down below there. And that's what causes these massive drops. Like I said, do I think it was related to Corona? Absolutely, you can't deny that. But I think it was going to happen either way, especially because we might have wanted to go retest that last low before we did have that takeoff, and for the major market players to go ahead and get their entries for this. So if we did have another shutdown, I don't think the drop would be as severe as it was back here, or even anything at all, to be honest. BCH is easy to buy and is on every exchange and PayPal too now. I don't know if it's on PayPal, but obviously it's on Coinbase. I think it's a good thing to pick up. What topics do you cover in your 101? I cover my basic strategy. I cover how to use indicators properly. And what I really like to put emphasis on in my 101s is that indicators are not here to help you. There's a reason why a lot of these indicators are free. If you can make a free indicator, all right, like RSI, like MACD, and the majority of people are using it and they only know one way to how to use it, you can trick them into positions constantly and then they get screwed over. So there's different ways to use these indicators to make the most of them rather than what everybody else does. And then obviously the biggest part about trading is not your technical analysis. Using complicated methods or indicators to predict what price action is going to do is not how you make money. Making money comes from making a plan and really sticking to it. The way that I like to explain it is imagine a trading plan as code for a robot. You're the robot. You follow that trading plan no matter what until it doesn't work. Once it doesn't work, just like how a software or a video game might have a bug in it, you need to go back and rewrite the code in order to make sure that it is working flawlessly from there. And it might take 100 different iterations to make that trading plan as perfect as it possibly can, but that's your job. Risk management is the biggest part of trading. And that, obviously that comes with a lot of emotional skills as well. But I want to teach you how simple technical analysis can be. That's all. A lot of my students, they go through a stage of kind of like face palming or anger. Because I sit down and I show them just how simple it was to trade everything that we just went through the past couple of months and how much you could have made off of it right in front of their faces. And obviously, a lot of people know that it can be simple, but until you put it right in front of their faces, do they really understand it? And then they kind of go, well, shit, I could have been rich by now. But, obviously you live and let learn and you use those skills in the future. Do you think the biggest whale's coordinate? You might have to rephrase that question. I don't know what that quite means. I'm sorry. Before we go ahead and lose track of this question, Link. Someone asked me to look at Link. We'll take a look at Link. Is there more price action in this? Okay. Kinda. Alright, so let's look at the 6 hour here. We do have a very nice diagonal support, and you can see we were relatively following this diagonal resistance on the way up. Next major resistance after that is going to be about $17.32. But the major resistance that you want to see it get back above if you're going to take an entry, you either want to see it find really nice support. Well, you can see we are kind of. You could pick up some Link now if you're trusting this diagonal, which is a very long-standing diagonal. So I don't think there's any reason not to. You would probably be trapped between here and about $13.20. Sorry, I keep itching my neck because this shirt has like a spike in it or something. And you would probably form an ascending triangle. Now, the only problem with this is you are taking a chance on potentially a head and shoulders pattern, because this could easily form into a head and shoulders here. We have left shoulder, potential right shoulder, and then if it does break this diagonal, you would be targeting about $9.92. So, at your own risk. I would say if you want to play this as safe as humanly possible, I would say wait for a break of this $3 and $13.25 resistance, and then go ahead and carry it from there. I mean, already from that, your next major resistance is going to be at about $17.33. That's a 30% spread, but obviously if you trust this coin, you're looking for much longer term plays. So there's always that possibility. But that's all I see on it. Black Friday sale for 101. Nah, listen, I'm not trying to be mean. Obviously, I would love to give sales and stuff. But for what I offer, I feel like I already have the cheapest price possible. I've had many creators reach out to me and say, hey, you're charging a lot less than you probably should. And I know that, but I just want to I want to have the most accessibility to people. You know, you get the Telegram for a lifetime, you get the Discord for a lifetime, which has a plethora of, a plethora of educational items, as well as that weekly meetings, and then obviously the one-on-ones with me. So sorry if you were looking for a discount, just not right now. If anything, it might get more expensive in the future, but I don't have any plans for that right away. Do you think people who move the market get together and make plans, or is it just individual rich people doing their own thing? Yeah, that's the big question. Okay, I don't think there's a bunch of rich people in a room conspiring. I just think that rich people have a different mindset on how to make money from a market. So generally, they move in the same type of way to force these things. I don't think they're conspiring. I think it's what's the phrase for it? I heard it a couple days ago. I'm not sure, but it's when a single person acts, but there's multiple single party entities that are doing the same thing. It just looks like a conspiracy. Sorry, mate. Can you check link to BTC, not USD? Yeah, no problem. Sorry about that. Link BTC. Okay, so we do have some nice TA on this. Let's look at it from a more daily perspective here. All right, so only problem is right now, let's go ahead and clear this up. Only problem right now is that you do have a head and shoulders, okay? You have left shoulder here, and then the right shoulder has already confirmed resistance. All right, so could you stall the 63,756 Satoshi support? Absolutely, and then that momentum would get transferred to the upside. As it currently stands, if you want the safer trade, you need to take your entry above this resistance, and then obviously you're targeting the next one from that. So you do have a generally a nice curve, as well as that just a regular diagonal here, saying that there is the possibility for you to find support and go ahead and continue up, but who knows how long this uptrend is really going to last. All right, so that's my opinion. Obviously, like I said, you could pick up here. You do have the long diagonal as support. That could be a possibility, but if you were to be extra safe, I would just take my entry above that head and shoulders just to make sure that there is no chance for downside. On TradingView, it's a pain. They don't label charts on how much price action there is to save trawling through them. Yeah, I would love if they did that. Opinion on Market Cipher. I think Market Cipher is a great tool. It's definitely something that more advanced traders should be using. The way that it's marketed as like somebody can just come into a market, buy this indicator and start crushing it, that's not the truth, okay? You need to learn basic risk management alongside regular technical analysis to get the most out of these advanced indicators. I don't think there's, any ill intent from the Market Cipher team trying to, obviously they're trying to market their product. I have no issues with that. I just think that from a trader's perspective, I got Market Cipher early on when I started trading, and I can tell you now, I don't have Market Cipher, and I am doing significantly better. Now, that's not because I stopped using Market Cipher. That's because I've had a lot more time to really learn how the market works. So I have no doubt if I did go pick up Market Cipher again, I would be doing well as well. So that's my opinion. Like I said, there's no ill intent. I'm not trying to persuade you guys not to buy it. I'm just saying from my perspective, it's not a necessity. That's all. Evening, Kite. Sorry we're late listening to you in the car coming back from a swim. Bitbird sends her regards. Hey guys, how you doing? What's going on? Glad you guys joined the team, and I'm looking forward to our first one-on-one pretty soon. Yeah, when they messaged me and he was like, can we plan on December 9th? I was joking. I was like, are you serious? You want me to have a one-on-one session on the release date of Cyberpunk 2077? I was like, nah, just joking. I can't wait for that game to come out. I'm so excited. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was excellent as well. It's been such a gaming drought. I've only had the Call of Duty, Rocket League, and that's pretty much it when it comes to video games. I'm glad that we now have some single player games so I can kind of just sit down, chillax, play with a controller, where I don't have to try hard all the time. Best free resources for learning to trade. Watch Crypto Bitcoin Chris's channel. All right. I'm no longer going to be giving out his Patreon stuff anymore. That's scummy. I shouldn't have done that in the first place. Obviously, when I did that, I always preferenced it by saying, please sign up for his Patreon before accessing that material. But he is a great guy. I really love his TA. When I first got started in trading, I looked a lot up to him. I still do. But lately, I've just been focusing on my own TA. I used to watch a lot of Crown. But Crown, he's one of those guys that makes trading look a lot more complicated than it actually is, with all of his indicators and all that stuff. But, obviously, like I said, no ill intent. I think Crown's a great guy. He's a great trader. I'm trying to make my channel more oriented towards simple trading and cutting out a lot of the BS. What are your thoughts on XLM? XLM, so I didn't know a whole lot about it up until the other day, but I did more research on it because I saw the possibility for gains on the TA side of things. So I kind of looked into the possibilities of what the fundamentals of the coin are. I think it's a good idea. If I understand this correctly, XLM is essentially kind of like Ripple almost. Okay, so Ripple, it's a means to move transactions between banks, I believe. XLM is doing that as well. Transferring coins to dollars, all that kind of stuff. I think that's what it's used for. So when it comes to the TA side of things, we have broken a inverse head and shoulders. All right, so we have left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So the support is sitting at about 14.56 cents. So that would be a good place to pick up. Obviously, if we slip back through that, let go of some of your position. But the next target would definitely be 45 cents in the longer term. Now, we could have a momentary resistance between this local high here of about 27 cents to about 32 cents. So we go ahead and mark this out with a rectangle. All right, that could be a possibility to go ahead and get rejected at first. So I would say picking up around 14.5 cents would not be a bad idea from a technical analysis perspective, and that would yield you about 200% to the next major resistance. So that would be a good play. So I do like the idea and the concept of XLM. If obviously if I have this correct, it's a version of Ripple that I support. If it's ran by banks, yes. Is there money to be made? Absolutely. I don't trust them. I don't trust them with my $2. All right. I barely have money in banks. All of my money is in crypto pretty much, which I know if you're an advanced investor, you would probably be screaming at me that that's a bad idea. Always hedge, always, have diversified portfolios. But I trust crypto a lot more than banks. I did play Red Dead Redemption 2. It's a beautiful looking game. Probably one of the best looking games to ever exist at the moment. I really wish... Alright, so... probably like 95% of people couldn't even run it. But I wish that they put RTX in Red Dead Redemption 2. That would have been awesome. It still looks fantastic, but it could have looked that much better. Yeah, we looked at Algo actually on the TikTok the other day. I believe this was one of the coins that wasn't spectacular when it came to the spread. All right, so you can see right now we do have the chance to go ahead and bottom out around 29 to 30 cents and form a inverse head and shoulders bottom. All right, you can see that right here. We have left shoulder, head, and then we would be looking for a break of about 34.6 cents to break that left shoulder. And then we do have the first resistance at about 42 cents, but the major target would definitely be 67 cents. So if we do happen to pick up right here, all right, that's a spread of about 129% to the major target if we do break past 34 cents. So it is a good possibility to go ahead and pick up some. We do have the diagonal support here. Okay, so that could be what we kind of use to get up past that. Who knows how long this will take, but that is a good place to go ahead and pick up in my opinion. RTX on Red Dead Redemption 2 is just real life. Pretty much. Dude, my favorite thing about Red Dead Redemption 2, I was just kind of exploring, and I found Tesla's workshop. I thought that was awesome. That was so cool to find. Yeah, okay, so boom. You trading USDT contracts or inverse perpetual? So in uptrends, you always want to trade inverse perpetual because obviously you're making the actual coin instead of just USDT. Now, when it comes to Litecoin, obviously I have to trade USDT. We don't have inverse perpetual for that just yet. But obviously what I'll be doing is just as soon as I make those profits, going and putting them into Litecoin as soon as I possibly can at a good break of a resistance, or obviously coming back down to a support. You have to excuse me, I'm going to take a bite. I have like 2-3 more bites of this chicken sandwich left. Dude, I was afraid I wasn't gonna be able to start the live stream at 12 o'clock. I ordered my DoorDash at 11:20. Took him about 20 minutes to pick it up, and then he started going the complete opposite direction of my house. So by the time the food got here, my fries were cold. Cold fries suck. At least the sandwich was warm because they put it in the aluminum foil bag. I'm not that person to like message DoorDash and be like, hey, can I get my money back? This is kind of bullshit. But I almost did it. But I don't know how that would negatively affect the dude that gave me the food. Obviously, am I a little bit mad at him? Yes. But I ordered food from my house and it shows up at the click of a button. How mad should I really be? That's all. I always do isolated. I don't ever do cross leverage. Crypto addicted Snarf. You sound like my roommate. He's always telling me to get a one wheel. No, we have not taken a look at 88 just yet. I'm going to do that now. Oh, that's unfortunate. I did not see that. Okay, so let's see. All right, so the last local high of this double bottom is at 9.7 cents. We completed a slanted double bottom up to this resistance. We got a little bit past it. If anything, we would probably try to come back down, make a higher low along this diagonal. But I would be looking for a break of about 14.8 cents. I don't know, man, because listen, if I ever was to get a like skateboard-esque type thing, I would probably get a ripstick. I love ripsticks. I was really good at them when I was a kid. You know, I could be that kid that like I would stand on one side of it and still be able to go. I could do ollies with it. I love ripsticks. And I feel like that's better for you because you're actually working. One wheels, you just stand on it. And I know you gotta, well, not really, because I mean the centrifugal force is gonna keep you balanced. So we're sitting at about $1 above my entry so far. So like I said, as this gets further and further, I think I'm going to scalp trade this back and forth. Now, my version of scalp trading is the 1 hour to 2 hour between a major support and resistance. Most people's forms of scalp trading is like the 5-minute, 1-minute chart. So when I say scalp trading, I'm talking about maybe taking a trade every 4 to 5, maybe every 7 days. So we'll see how this works out. Like I said, maybe the next time that we come back down, I might open up a swing trade. But I think I'm just going to be scalping this back and forth, trying to make the most for the $100 account. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You know, you have to put in some work, burn some calories on a ripstick. One wheels, you just go. Let's see. Gotta go put up some Xmas lights. All right, man. You have a good day, man. I appreciate you showing up as always. I'm not really the person to put up Christmas lights just yet. Maybe when I'm older. Have you said what you think will happen to Bitcoin yet? We did, but we can always go back to it just so you can get updated right away. So pretty much Bitcoin is in the same exact position as Litecoin. We're double bottoming. We have a bullish divergence as well. So I mean, you could pick up right here and then put your stop loss below at about 16,286. And then I would probably, I mean, obviously you could actually just target this. Maybe take your profits a little bit beforehand just in case we do get a lower high. But that would still be a 4.54. So obviously, if you want to be extra safe, you can always take your entry above the horizontal resistance of the double bottom, set your stop loss nicely below, and then go ahead and ride it out from there. I mean, that would still be a pretty good trade. Still about a 4. So, I mean, if you want to be extra safe, you can always do that. So my leverage always changes. It's based off of my entry to my stop loss. So I use a risk reward calculator. So like say for the $100 account. All right. So I got $90. So I'm using 6% and then I'm using 100%. And if I have a 4.39, which was what my Litecoin trade stop loss was, it divides 100% by 4.39 to give me 23x leverage. So let's say you had like a $10,000 portfolio. There's different ways that you can set this up to get different leverages. All right, so let's say you're trying to risk 2% of your portfolio. You could use 2% of your portfolio as margin and then 100% as risk. And then if you get a 2% stop loss, you'd be using 50x leverage. Now, you're still going to make the same amount of money and you're still going to lose the same amount of money. The only thing that changes is your leverage. Now, the reason why you would want to use higher leverage is so that you could have less of your portfolio on the exchange. That way, you have less portfolio exposure. Because obviously, like I told you guys many times before, we don't know if anything will ever happen to Bybit. It seems pretty secure, but we don't know if they're going to have to force US customers off the platform for real, or, you know, maybe it gets hacked. So if you have a $10,000 portfolio, why have all $10,000 on Bybit? You can only have, like, you could maybe put $500 in a Bybit and still trade the same way. Now, if you're a little bit less experienced, this is where you might have to use higher margin. I found that if you are less experienced, you're more likely to do stupid things. So maybe using higher margin, and then obviously you would have to cut down your risk to maybe, that would be what? 4%? 4%. So you're going to be risking 4% of 50% of your margin, which is 2% of the whole. All right, so that means you're using 2x leverage. Like I said, even though you're using 2x leverage versus 50x leverage, you're still making the same amount of money and still losing the same amount of money. The only thing that changes is how much of your portfolio you're risking in case something goes wrong. That's all. And obviously, using some of your portfolio for other trades, that's always an availability as well. Very high then. No, with the Litecoin trade, I'm only using about 24x leverage because, like I said, I'm using about 6% margin and then 100% risk. So that puts me at about 23x leverage with the 4.5% stop loss. No, I haven't put this long in yet. I'm trying to focus on mainly altcoins and build my bag with that. I have a stupid amount of Bitcoin, so I really don't need to focus on that. Obviously, this is a good trade. It's easy. But more specifically, I'm looking to build my ETH and my Litecoin bag. Seems a bit risky in case it dumps again. Well, it's only risky if you're risking too much. That's all. You know, if you're using 1 to 2% risk, why is this risky? You have a 1.618 support. You have a double bottom building. You have bullish divergence. You have hidden bullish divergence as well. What's risky about it? The only thing that's risky is if it does fail, and you never know if it will. So the only thing that's risky is what you're willing to put into it. Yeah, if you're using 50% of your portfolio as risk, that's risky. I'll probably stream for about another 15-30 minutes for you guys, and I'm probably going to go. I haven't yet decided yet if I'm going to go down to my sister's this weekend, because I think I'm going to be moving down there pretty soon, and I want to get Fish acquainted with the cats. I'm really scared that Fish is going to be screwing around with the cats, and then one of the cats is going to catch him in the eyeball with one of their nails. That scares the hell out of me. What's up, Kite? Do you play VR? I used to a lot, but it kind of just got boring. I don't think VR is far along enough yet for me to really say it's like, you know, one of my main things that I do. I loved Beat Saber. That was one of my favorite games. What was Gorn? I have broken my knuckles playing Gorn. That game is so much fun. But just as an example, like you were saying, if I were to take this trade, how would I set it up? Well, I mean, if I'm taking entry right now and I missed out on this first bottom, I have to have my stop loss below the support, you know, a good buffer period below it. And then I'd probably be targeting about 18,752. So that would be about a 4.7 risk reward ratio. I would come over here to the risk reward calculator, and I would say, okay, if I have $10,000, I want to use about 4% risk. 4% margin with about 50% risk. And then I have a 2.54% stop loss. So I'll be using about 20x leverage with about 7,874 contracts. Now, the way that I like to have my personal accounts, not just the $100 portfolio set up, is I like to use 8%, 25%. That way, I put in my contracts, I put in my leverage, and then if I'm marketing, I can just click market. And then when it goes to the stop loss screen, I can just click 25%. And it'll automatically put my stop loss where it needs to be. That way, I don't have to type in any numbers or recheck my chart. What happened?
but they don't let it ripen. They wanna let it golden, let it tighten. That's advice grips. They try to show me routes that I could thrive in. I say nah, 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 nah. Remember the Titans, cause not selling out is priceless. You gon' need to
Now, Bitcoin might be a little bit riskier because we don't have like a daily support. We're going off of like lower time frames, but it is the 1.618 from the trend, so it makes sense from a Fibonacci standpoint. Now, Litecoin's a totally different story. We're getting a lower time frame double bottom, but we're getting that lower time frame double bottom off of a daily macro support and resistance. So that one, you can't really call that one risky. Got to get to work. Thanks as always for the stream, man. Have a good weekend, dude. You as well, man. I'll see you guys on Monday. You know, like I said, as always, if something major happens, I always get on. But yeah, let's see. I think I need to go and change like my stream titles to 12 p.m. EST. Like I said, maybe for Monday we might shoot for like 2 p.m. Just because, you know, I've been seeing from a lot of you guys in like Oceanic that it's like 4 or 5 a.m. when I'm starting to stream. So maybe pushing it back about 2 hours would be more helpful for a lot of people. Let's check up on the trade. I should be up about 25% if I'm not wrong. Yep, I'm up 33% on the Litecoin long with about $28 profit. So I entered it with $84 margin. My take profit is set to $80. So if I win this trade, I'll walk away with about $370. So that would be a good first trade. Obviously, it's not as crazy as the one that we had on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we started with about $90 as well. And on that first trade, I think we made like 1,000% profit. So we almost had $1,000 from $100 on our first trade. And then from there, we built it up. So like I said, hopefully we can kind of scalp trade this back and forth between this $80 and $66 range a couple times before we go ahead and start shortening up the range. And that way, by the time we break this, I can go ahead and take a nice swing long up to 140. And my plan is hopefully we can get about $1,500 to $2,000 by the time we break out of this. And then this next trade right here, this is definitely going to be a swing trade alongside a scalp trade. It's probably going to look something like this. That would be the swing trade. That would be about 14.91. And depending on what the account is at, we're probably going to be around 5 to 10% risk on the swing trade. So, I mean, if we're using 10%, we're at $2,000. That will net me about $3,000 profit on that. My hope is that I can get the $100 account up to around 10K and then reduce my risk to about 2% and then just trade from there. And hopefully by the end of the bull run, then we'll be at that 250K. Now, there is a small chance that we do happen to break this and go down to test the diagonal. I think XRP actually did something similar. We'll check out XRP real quick. XRP, we had, depending on how you draw it, I would say this is more likely. So actually, we haven't gone back down and retested that diagonal. Put these back up. I want to keep these. I want to delete these. 58 cents. Yeah, because I understand that with the stream being like 1080p and like live streams are notorious for having a little bit less quality. I want to be able to make sure that you guys can see the supports and resistances very clear and have them marked out with actual numbers.
Every loss, every lesson started becoming an obsession. Getting fed up with perfection. They don't want that, they just think that it's whatever. Either way, I just felt that, I just wrote that. Got some things I need to say. I approach that, that's a known fact. Boy, don't mess with me today. Gotta own that, I was told that everything gon' be okay. We made it this far, we can't stop now. Gotta thank God I was lost.
I'm feeling a lot better recently with like the past like 4 or 5 nights, really getting to bed at like an early time, waking up at an early time. Because a lot of my lack of energy comes from the simple fact that my sleeping schedule would always change. It would be, you know, sometimes I would wake up at 2 a.m., sometimes I would wake up at 2 p.m. My body didn't know what the hell was going on. So now that I got more of like an inline sleeping schedule, now it's giving my body the time to catch up in terms of like circadian rhythm. Definitely that melatonin comes in handy, man. It puts me out like a light. Hopefully it stays that way. I don't know how melatonin tolerance works. Hopefully it's not crazy. So it would suck. I need that. Let's change all these back to what they're supposed to be. BTC, Litecoin, Ethereum, XRP. Cool. Alex VR game. Crown gets went all over it. I've seen it. I think it looks cool. It's definitely one of the better VR games out there. But I just haven't tried it. Yeah, like I said, definitely looks cool. Melatonin gives me ridiculously realistic nightmares, so I choose no sleep. I kind of feel you. But I'd rather have dreams than not have dreams, even if they're nightmares. So like I like to keep my dream log because one of the books that I read a lot is a Field Guide to Lucid Dreaming. And I really like tapping into the subconscious part of your brain, and dreams are a way to do so. And I've had probably only about 10 to 20 lucid dreams, but every single one, it's awesome. And the best way to do so is keep a dream journal. That way your brain learns that you want to remember your dreams. So like, let's say you think that you don't dream. All right, so if you have like a phone, go ahead, go to your journal or your notes. And then what you want to do is, if you don't remember your dream, type out the date and say, I don't remember my dream. And every single night that happens, do that, even if it feels like you shouldn't. Type, I don't remember my dream. And what you're doing is you're subconsciously telling your brain that even though it didn't remember tonight's dream, that you want to. And then you keep doing that over and over again. And then finally you might be like, I remember I was in a car park. And then that might be the only detail that you remember. Put that down. So I'll read out some of my dreams here. November 11th. Start out in a superhero fight, then I leave by myself to India and end up working at a 5-star hotel, where I end up getting found by a raccoon bounty hunter. That was a pretty good one. November 14th. Use submarine to get to the bottom of the ocean to survive prime fire. Have you guys ever seen the 100? Prime fires were like all the nuclear reactors finally had a meltdown after World War III, and it screwed up everything. So I survived it by going down below the ocean. And then it also says, aliens attack anything that emits artificial light. I survive in the woods with only a lighter. Okay, let me find this one. One of my craziest dreams I would love to make into a sketch one day. I'm sure this is probably already a movie. Maybe that's where I got the idea from. I'm at an old farmhouse with a family of 4. They live over top of a military base that has testing sound waves that make people go crazy and violent. They end up setting their house on fire. That was a pretty good one. That feels a little bit too realistic, to be honest. That could actually happen. That was like 3 years ago, though. Yeah, my oldest dream journal goes all the way back to 2016. November 3rd, start off with me and a couple friends in a shipping yard. One day when I'm just walking around, I notice this young man who simply disappeared while walking. The next day I see it again. The day after I catch him and confront him. He explains that he travels through time and this is a place that is special because it's the final place in the timeline and no one can see what's past it. That's why he stays around the area. He takes us with him to show us how it works. Fast forward, we are waiting with many time travelers for the reveal of the next part of the timeline. Turns out it's a toxic gas wave that rolls across California to the east that wipes out anyone who isn't prepared. So yeah, I'm no stranger to weird nightmares. Ugh. Tell you what, man, I need to find out a better solution for these lighting panels. Because having like really bright lights shining in your eyeballs, I don't know if that's good for you, but it definitely hurts after a while. If I just show up to streams now with like sunglasses on, you know why. They sound too creepy. I got a weird brain, man. I got a weird brain. One of my favorite dreams recently that I had was kind of like a lucid dream. It wasn't lucid up until a certain point. So the dream started off, I lived with my family. Well, like what should have been my family, but a different version of it. And we lived in like Nevada, kind of like out in the desert. And me and my siblings had this like mini game that we would play where we go out in the middle of the desert and there's like mini tornadoes that we have to dodge. And then so I'm dodging these tornadoes and I end up in like this little divot in the ground. And like the final wave of this mini game that we're playing is like this toxic sea foam comes up out of nowhere. And I get stuck in this pit. And then this toxic sea foam is coming up and around me. And I'm like, well, I'm going to die. And like there was this moment where I kind of just like felt like this extreme peace. And I kind of just laid back into the sea foam and just died. And then I respawned pretty much as like a ghost. And that's when I became lucid. Me accepting the death in the dream equaled lucidity. And I became lucid. And then at that point, I didn't like interrupt the storyline of the dream. So I was a ghost now, trying to get my Bitcoin money to my family and show them how to unlock it. So at that point, the US government didn't like that I was trying to get my money to my family. So they were trying to hunt me down in ghost form. as I'm on like this wild goose chase to get them my private key and all this stuff. It was pretty cool. It was fun. The time travel dream is a good movie plot. I think so. That's what I'm talking about. I want to, like, that's why I record my dreams, because maybe one day when I'm bored and I have lots of money, I can hire people to make these into like little short movies. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I like that concept of you being a time traveler, and like there's this place in the timeline where you know there's something past it, but you can't go yet. And it was pretty cool because it was like this car park of all of these time travelers from like all these different generations that were like waiting for the great reveal. And I remember like we saw the toxic wave and everybody's trying to get out of there super fast. I remember like racing through the streets of like LA or something. And I got to the East Coast and I had about 2 weeks before the toxic wave hit us. And so I trained how to do like Wim Hof to the point where I could hold my breath for 20 minutes, because I found out in the dream that the toxic wave only lasts 20 minutes. So if you could hold your breath until it passes, you're good. So it was pretty cool. I remember like traveling along like riverways to get back home. Why do you choose to write your dreams down? Is it better for mental clarity or finding meanings, or mainly for lucid dreaming? Well, I mean, if anything, all right, you spend 1/3 of your life asleep, and you have dreams every single night, whether you know it or not. So learning how to put those dreams into descriptions and remember them in the first place, you're basically capturing your life. You're not letting this 1/3 of your life slip away into darkness. Instead of you're capturing it every single morning and putting it into pages. That way, those crazy adventures that you go on in your dreams are a part of you. You don't lose them, and you remember them. Now, me personally, the reason why I got started with dream journaling is to lucid dream. I'm very progressive when it comes to like that kind of stuff. And what's a field guide to lucid dreaming? If you guys can pick that up on Audible or in just regular book form, it's a really good book. Goes through a lot of different techniques on how to lucid dream. And, there's always like the scientific, if you just want to think of lucid dreams as lucid dreams. But he goes on to describe there might be a more mystical aspect to lucid dreamings, because there was 2 people involved in 2 different sleep studies that do not know each other, and they described the same character in both of their dreams. It's a weird story, but it's pretty cool, and it kind of just piqued my interest. You can call those dreams ostentatious. I guess so. But yeah, the melatonin dreams, those are highly realistic and kind of spooky. I didn't write this one down because I didn't really feel like giving this dream life, but I very vividly remember it. I was at my grandparents' table reading like a school book, and I remember flipping through the pages, and one of the pages had like this symbol on it. And like in my dream, the symbol was like demonic, and it really spooked me to the point where I woke up out of the dream instantly once I saw it. And I turned the lights on and I was like, nope, not for me. It was very, very odd. Very odd. I don't think it was like a demon trying to contact me in my dreams. I like a couple weeks ago, I was binge watching this show called Evil, where it's like a priest and a psychologist get together to find out these mysteries. And the demons had special symbols attached to them and all this stuff. So that's probably where it came from.
need to learn to live with all the things I can't change. I hate the fact that I feel nothing or I'm reeling in pain. I need to shake this fucking habit, so I try but I can't. And I look down on other addicts when we're one and the same. Remember back, I'm pushing 20, those were simpler times. That's when we met, and ever since you never far from my mind. I broke my ankle playing ball, and so it's you I'm prescribed. And even through all of the pain, you make me feel I could fly. A couple weeks and now you're gone, and now I'm feeling the stress. I always wanted to feel.
With that being said, guys, we're starting to slow down here. I appreciate you guys very much, as always. I love that you guys show up to every single live stream. I'll probably see you guys on Monday. Like I said, we might do 12 p.m. again. We might be 2 p.m. EST, but either way, it'll be earlier than the 6 p.m. showing. But yeah, like I said, we got some pretty good entries on a lot of these coins. So, take your entries. Make sure you got good stop losses. Don't risk too much because you never know what can happen. But yeah, Litecoin is definitely one that I'm looking for. Obviously, like I said, I'm in a trade already on that one. Maybe, just maybe, I might take Ethereum and maybe Bitcoin. That's a little bit farther than I want it to be to get an entry. I would like for it to come back down to like 16,632, but who knows. But I can always get the breakout of the horizontal from the double bottom. That's always a possibility. And obviously the safer trade in the first place. But with that being said, guys, thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and log off for today. And hope you guys have good weekends. And I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Yeah. I think I might take a little bit of a nap before I go down to my sister's because it is like an hour-long drive. I don't know how well Fish is going to handle it, though. The longest Fish has ever been in a car is probably for like 15 minutes, except for when I first got him. But hopefully he doesn't cry too much. Oh. Peruvian Gold, thank you very much, man. Glad you guys can be a part of the Kite family. I don't know what to call it yet. I don't really think that's something I'm going to do. Johnny20, thank you very much, man. Have a good weekend. Let's see, let's go ahead and select my outro song. Yesterday, there was an extra 40 minutes to the stream. So I kind of just turned the ending screen into like a DJ. But yeah, might do that again. Maybe I'll play a couple songs. If you guys like my music, I'll probably just play like 1 or 2 songs and then click it off. I wish I could play Riley Ritchie on stream, but it always blocks it. Pick that. Malky Dot, missed the live. It's alright, man. Glad you're here now. You can always go back and watch it. Don't worry about it, buddy. The Kite Cult? Maybe not that. Aaron, have a great weekend, man. Fish, it's just someone coming in the door. You have a great weekend as well, Josh. Alright, guys, with that being said, thank you very much. I'll see you guys next time. Monday, 2 p.m., 12 p.m. One of those 2 times. If you guys are in the Telegram, obviously let you know ahead of time which one I choose. But as always, trade safe, trade well. And I'll see you in the next one, alright, guys? Alright. Go ahead and switch it over to the, I lost my ending screen, so it's always on the be right back screen. So I'll have to get that fixed soon, but all right. As always, I love you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
So much confidence. Feel it in my hands, I gotta breathe. So much confidence. This feels like a lesson I'ma teach. Spoke to God, told me stay in the truth. Patience wasn't learned by the fools. Focused on the rules again. But Jesus only wants a friend. My heart is dreaming cause my dreams are really moving me. Sprinting through these seasons cause this change is nothing new to me. Remember when you told me in my life cause you ashamed of me. Guess I'm more than what you thought of me. Been to be back. So much confidence. Gotta breathe. So much confidence. Just wait and see. So much confidence. Gotta breathe. So much confidence. Just wait and see.
Never been big on appearances, I just want more people hearing it. I need y'all to take me serious, I guess that come with experience. Everybody after a meal, I put that on cafeterias, period. I pull through in the chariot, they don't like truth, they bury it. Follow my God, I just show them love. Never know who to trust, but nobody does. Feeling like Tarzan, rapping like nah, I ain't gon' say it. They don't expect it, they gotta respect it. I ain't making music for your homies at the coffee shop. You should be on AM with the way you like to talk a lot. Judge me by my cover, you would think that this unorthodox. That's the ox.
Wow. So much confidence. Gotta breathe. So much confidence. Just wait and see.
Things that I can't say. Talking with a band-aid.
Y'all built by robots.
But I stay handmade.
I'm just trying to sell out Coliseum.
Labels calling cause they wanna see them.
Back when I would hustle, sending DMs.
Y'all with Alec, y'all don't even see them.
Tell them no, but never give a reason.
That's why I told them they don't need them.
Pray about it, tell me how you feeling.
Signing nothing till you guarantee them.
Focus, purpose, lead us, Moses.
ISO, tightrope, balance, Michael.
Y'all replenished energy, coming word.
Stones hit the bowl, walking fade.
Man, that's gonna be crazy.
That's what I told him too. It's all about confidence.
Where the beat go? So much confidence. Gotta breathe. So much confidence. Just wait and see.
Yeah. And I couldn't change you, no. Yeah. Said I couldn't change you, no. Yeah. You wouldn't wanna be changed anyway. Yeah. I heard them screaming dangerous. Yeah. Danger, dang, dang, I can't get away. Yeah. But I ain't no stranger, no. Woo! Stranger to not getting my way. Yeah. They hit me with the nigga, how you been? I'm just checking in, you ain't checking in. You saw how well I was doing and you wanted it. And I know those eyes, I could see them from a mile away. But I don't blame you, you just hungry, ain't you? Room full of entertainers, I have it, they paint us. Ain't got much to say to you, except don't come around me with none of that mess, boy. Cause I couldn't change you, no. Woo! Dang, you wouldn't wanna be changed anyway. Yeah, I heard them screaming dangerous. Yeah, danger, dang, dang, I can't get away. Yeah, but I ain't no stranger, no. Woo! Stranger to not getting my way. Yeah, and I chose to play you. Yeah. Play you. I guess it comes with the game. Yeah, I said they treat you like you royalty, so they can get you royalties. They act like it's loyalty, saying they gon' spoil me, but I don't even like getting spoiled. I ain't walking with my hand out. I figure they think that I'm the man now, so they just wanna be around, but ain't nothing changed, except I got some fans now, so I thank all y'all for listening, for real. You wouldn't wanna be changed anyway. I heard them screaming dangerous, danger. I can't get away.
just wanna call. I could say it all to you. Am I in your thoughts? Or did you put balls in mine invisible? Take a look at what we did. Take a look behind the mask. Been this way since we were kids. We've been living in the past. Ain't afraid of what I had. It's just M1 for the bag in mine invisible. Pull up in a pink Mustang, young vibe from the East gon' stay. Moved on from things that don't change. I ain't even keep my things. Seen you over there, seen you cross the room, cold as polar bears. I wanna talk to you. Got your own affairs, got a lot to prove. Guess we going there, guess you not gon' move. Wanna put 100 on the dash, making sure nobody gonna pass you. Making sure nobody gonna push. Making sure it's never gonna happen. Better things always come in twos. The only thing I ever want is you. These arguments are always set to cruise. Always set for you to never lose. I just wanna call. I could say it all to you. Am I in your thoughts? Or did you put the balls in mine invisible? Take a look at what we did. Take a look behind the mask. Been this way since we were kids. We've been living in the past. Ain't afraid of what I had. It's just M1 for the bag in mine invisible. Tell me that you love me. Tell me that you care. I just got a glimpse, but you're making it unfair. You got other options, yeah, but I ain't never just an option. Wanna put 100 on the dash, yeah. Everything a blur when I pass it. You are not the one I wanna pass up. Got a couple things I wanna ask, yeah. Do you see this working? Am I ever worth it? Tell me what's the purpose? Keeping me translucent. Why can't you see me? I just wanna call. I just wanna call. I could say it all to you. Am I in your thoughts? Or did you put balls in mine invisible? Take a look at what we did. Take a look behind the mask. Been this way since we were kids. We've been living in the past. Ain't afraid of what I had. It's just M1 for the bag in mine invisible.
I got 2 12s in the trunk. Will I they could and they blown. I got stuff turning it up. It's what you doing in wrong. I just be calling they bluff. If they never pick up the phone, I guess when push come to shove, they might get knocked off they throne. I got 2 12s in the trunk. Will I they could now they blown. I got stuff turning it up. It's what you doing in wrong. They just be calling they bluff. They never pick up the phone. I guess when push come to shove, they might get knocked off they throne. You been singing a lot, I know. What do you want from me? You want a piece of the pie? It shows. Part of my manners and part of my grammar. I do this for love, put that on my grandma. I'm wearing my cutoffs like I'm David Banner. Hand on my tenor, nobody even knows I'm a star. Life is a beach with a private cabana. We hanging like banners.